Years ago, a temple was built in India that still amazes people today. The Kailash Temple of Ellora. The Kailash Temple is still the largest monolithic structure in the world. It is the largest monument in the world made of a single stone. To build it, a 10-story building and a football ground were chosen, and it was carved from top to bottom. The stones were removed until only this temple was left. To build it, around 200,000 tons of stone were removed. If you have to carry so much stone today, it will take 11,000 trucks. Then how did humans carve such a huge temple with ordinary tools like a hammer and chisel? Did the aliens help in making it? And why was no evidence of the 200,000 tons of stone removed? Situated 30 km away from Maharashtra's Chhatrapati Sambhaji Nagar is Ellora village. And this is where Lord Shiva's Kailash temple is built. The entire mountain you see has been carved and made into a temple. These images will give you an idea of how huge this temple is. The temple building starts from the entrance. Then comes the Nandi Mandap, Sabha Mandap, and Garbhagriha. The 107 feet high peak is its highest point, which shows how high this mountain was before the carving. Looking at the elephants at the base of the temple, it seems as if the whole temple is on their back. The story of Mahabharata and Ramayana has also been depicted on this base with amazing carving. If there was any mistake in the measurement or carving, the place could not be repaired by adding stones again. That is why many people believe that it is not possible for humans to build the Kailash temple. They believe that it was either made by aliens or by superhumans who had divine powers. But no evidence has been found to support these theories. On the other hand, archaeologists have found clear evidence, which proves that this temple was built by humans using normal tools at that time. Marks of tools used in ancient times have been found in the walls surrounding the temple. Even after analyzing the sculptures of the temple, it has been confirmed that they were made with ordinary tools like hammer and chisel. In India, the construction of rock-cut monuments is an ancient tradition, which itself started many centuries before the Kailash temple. This art was not developed by aliens, but by our ancestors, who worked hard for years. And this art was passed down from generation to generation. It started in India 2,300 years ago in the 3rd century BCA, when King Ashoka of the Mauryan Empire built equal caves for the monks of the Ajivik sect. These caves were made by carving granite rocks. Their walls were made smooth and shiny like a mirror, because of which even a small light from the small gate of the cave would illuminate the entire cave. Apart from this, these walls used to give a surround sound experience while chanting mantras. After this, from 2nd century BC to 1st century CE, Ajanta caves were built, which used to work as prayer halls for Buddhist monks. After this, during the Gupta period, from 5th century CE to 6th century CE, Elephanta caves were built in Mumbai. These rock-cut caves were devoted to Lord Shiva. For the first time in India, not only caves but entire temples were built from one single stone. The rulers of the Pallavan dynasty built 5 such temples in Mahabalipuram, which are called Panchrat. In Pellora, a whole mountain was carved to build the Kailash temple. Along with being the world's largest monolithic structure, it is also the most complex. In fact, if you zoom out from the Kailash temple, you will find many other caves made from the same rock. There are a total of 34 such caves in this area, which are collectively known as Ellora caves. In these 34 caves, the Kailash temple is built in cave No. 16. How did humans use ordinary tools to dig 2 lakh tons of stones and build such a huge temple? Well, archaeologists found some copper plate inscriptions during excavation in Baroda. These plates were granted by a king named Karkatu, and it is clearly mentioned in this that the Kailash temple of Ellora was built by the 2nd king of the Rashtrakuta dynasty, Krishna Raja. The 13 kings of the dynasty ruled from 753 to 982, and in their peak, their empire looked something like this. Their 2nd king was Krishna Raja, and according to Baroda's copper plate, he built the Kailash temple. The rule of Krishna Raja was from 756 to 774. That is, only 18 years. In fact, a German archaeologist named Hermann Goetz claimed in his theory that it took 500 years to build the Kailash temple. He also believed that it was not possible to build such a huge temple under the 18-year rule of Krishna Raja. Also, when Goetz studied the temple's architecture and sculptures deeply, he found a total of 10 different artistic styles there. For example, there is a Gajalakshmi panel at the entrance of the temple, and the artistic style of this panel is completely different from the elephant and lion in the temple's plinth. Well, these 8 styles take many decades to change. Therefore, according to Guts, it is not at all possible that in the 18-year rule of Krishna Raja, these 10 styles were used to make the temple. According to Guts, these 10 styles developed from the 8th century to the 13th century and represent the architecture style of 8 different kings. In fact, according to Guts, the construction of the Kailash temple was not started by Krishna Raja, but by Danti Durga, the first king of the Rashtrakuta Empire in the 8th century, after which 7 other kings continued the construction. And finally, in the 13th century, the temple was completed. And like this, it took 500 years to complete the construction. Guts gave this theory in 1952. But then in 1982, Indian archaeologist M.K. Davalekar published his paper, Kailasa, the Stylistic Development and Chronology, and proved Guts's theory completely wrong. According to him, in the year 756, the throne of the Rashtrakuta Empire was transferred from Danti Durga to Krishna Raja. Then a year later, in the year 757, Krishna Raja waged war against Badami's Chalukyas and achieved a great victory. After this war, he saw the Virupaksha temple of Patadakal, which was built by Chalukyan king Kirtivarman II. This temple impressed Krishna Raja so much that he also decided to build a similar temple. That's why he brought the sculptors and architects who built the Virupaksha temple with him, like war prizes. After which, these Chalukyan architects and the Rashtrakuta architects of Ellora together built the Kailash temple. This is the reason why the Kailash temple of Ellora is almost a replica of the Virupaksha temple of Patadakal. But the main difference is that the Kailash temple is a rock-cut temple and is almost double in size. The Chalukyan artists whom Krishna Raja brought with him to Ellora were not all Chalukyan. Some of them were Pallavans, who belonged to the Pallavan dynasty of Tamil Nadu, and Chalukyan king Kirtivarman brought them to Patadakal when he defeated the Pallavan king. This means that Krishna Raja made a team of Pallavan, Chalukyan and Rashtrakutan artists to build the Kailash temple. While Chalukyan and Pallavan artists were experts in architectural design and sculpturing, Rashtrakutan artists were experts in rock cutting. That's why when their expertise was combined, the great Kailash temple was built. Harman Guts believed that different artistic styles were found in the temple because it was built by different kings. A team of artists from 3 different cultures and dynasties worked on it. Even in these teams, there were multiple sub-teams whose artistic styles were different. That means there was one king, but the artists' teams were different. In ancient India, a great text called Manasar was written, in which the architectural principles and designs of ancient India were explained in depth. When we combine the theory of M.K. Davalekar and the teachings of Manasar, first of all, the ancient architects, who were known as Stapati, selected a suitable site to build the temple. They striked the huge basalt rocks of Ellora with a specialized tool, and just by hearing the sound, they recognized that this rock is good for carving without any internal cracks. After this, the entire blueprint of the temple was made on the rock. In the case of the Kailash temple, this blueprint was quite similar to the Virupaksha temple. The most special thing about the rock-cut architecture was that it was carved from top to bottom. In the case of the Kailash temple, the carving was started by making 3 large trenches, so that the mass of a rectangular rock could be isolated in the center. To do this, they made a sequence of holes on the rock and put dry wood wedges inside them. After this, water was poured on the wood. As soon as the water was absorbed, the dry wood swelled up, and extreme pressure against the rock was created. Because of this, the rock cracked in the lines, made of precisely wedges. Once the crack came in the rock, it became very easy to remove the rock using 2-handed hammers and large drills. After this whole process, trenches of 270 by 50 by 100 feet were made on the sides, and a trench of 150 by 30 by 100 feet was made at the back. And in the middle, a freestanding block was made, which could be carved to make the temple. Davalekar estimated that about 20 lakh cubic feet of rock would have been removed to make these trenches. If we assume that one worker removes 4 cubic feet of rock per day, which is quite easily possible, it means that 250 workers would have removed 1,000 cubic feet of rock in a day. It means that in a year, these people would have removed 3,065,000 cubic feet of rock. And it would have taken 5.5 years to remove 20 lakh cubic feet of rock. As soon as a small part of the central block became visible, the other team started carving it. It means that in five years, not only the trenches would have been made, but the upper portion of the temple would have also been significantly carved. Then in the next 6 to 7 years, the remaining part of the temple was carved, hollowed, sculptures were made, and fine carving was done. And in the same way, within 12 years, the Kailash temple was ready. Then where did the 2 lakh tons of rock that was removed to make the temple go? Well, experts have given some logical explanations for this as well. Like it is possible that these stones would have been used to make the surrounding roads or the foundation of buildings. Or they would have been simply dumped in the nearby valleys. Most probably, they would have been converted to soil due to erosion in the last 1,300 years. But there is no concrete evidence as to what exactly happened to these stones.
If you enjoyed this documentary and want more forbidden places, ancient mysteries, dark history, and unexplained stories from around the world, subscribe to Cursed Earth. Because some of the world's darkest stories are completely real.